Title: The Wanderers Question the Kingdom of Australis. Nestled between sprawling forests and towering mountains, there was a village named Eldenmere. It was a peaceful place, where life was simple, and the days passed by slowly. People worked the land, tended to their animals, and told tales of ancient heroes who once walked the earth, their stories lingering in the air like distant dreams. But to Kaelen, a young man born under the rare silver glow of the eclipse, there was more to life than the quiet rhythms of the village. He felt the weight of destiny pressing upon him, a force he couldn't ignore. From a young age, Kaelen had been different. While others were content with the simplicity of village life, he often found himself staring at the distant mountains or gazing at the horizon, wondering what lay beyond the safety of Eldenmere. The elders spoke of a prophecy, one that foretold of a hero who would rise to protect the world from an ancient shadow, but they also spoke in hushed tones, as if the prophecy were nothing more than a legend, a forgotten story, lost to time. But to Kaelen, it was more than just a tale. He knew in his heart that he was destined for something greater. And when the rare celestial event that had marked his birth occurred again, when the moon shone silver and the stars flickered in strange patterns, he knew it was time to set out on the path that had been set before him. One crisp evening, as the sun set and painted the sky with fiery reds and golds, Kaelen stood at the edge of the village. The wind was sharp, carrying the scent of pine and earth, and he felt the familiar tug of wanderlust in his chest. There was a pull in his soul, something that called him toward the unknown. He could not ignore it any longer. He turned to his father, who stood watching from the doorway of their small cottage. The elder's face was etched with lines of worry, but also pride. "Kaelen, my son," his father said quietly, "the world beyond these hills is vast and dangerous, but it is also full of wonders. If you choose this path, know that I will always be with you in spirit, guiding you as best as I can." "I must go," Kaelen replied, his voice steady but filled with the weight of the decision. "The world has called me, and I cannot ignore it. The prophecy, father, I believe it is true." With nothing but a satchel, a sword that had once belonged to his grandfather, and a heart full of determination, Kaelen began his journey. His first destination was the legendary windswept peaks, a mountain range that loomed in the distance, a place said to hold the wisdom of ancient sages who had long since disappeared into legend. It was said that the sages knew of the balance between the realms, and Kaelen was certain that if he could find them, they would offer him the guidance he needed. The journey to the peaks was treacherous. Kaelen encountered thick forests where the trees seemed to whisper secrets in languages he couldn't understand. He crossed rivers that shimmered with an otherworldly glow, and at times he felt the presence of something following him, something ancient and powerful. The deeper he traveled, the more he felt the weight of his destiny. After several days of travel, Kaelen finally reached the base of the windswept peaks. The mountain range stretched high into the sky, its peaks hidden by swirling clouds. He spent days scaling the steep cliffs, his muscles burning with exhaustion, but his resolve remained unwavering. As he reached the summit, he discovered a hidden temple, its stone walls carved with intricate symbols that glowed faintly in the moonlight. Inside the temple, an old sage awaited him. His hair was long and white, his robes flowing as though they were part of the wind itself. The sage's eyes were deep, full of ancient knowledge, and when he spoke, his voice echoed like the wind through the mountains. "You seek the world, young one," the sage said, his gaze steady and piercing. "But the world is vast, and its secrets are not easily uncovered. You must learn not just the ways of power, but also the ways of the heart. The prophecy you seek to fulfill will require more than just strength. It will require wisdom, courage, and the ability to face the darkness that lies within yourself." Kaelen nodded. He had heard the stories, but he had never truly understood the gravity of his quest. The sage continued, his voice growing softer. "The Heartstone, the key to the world's power, is hidden, and only the pure of heart can unlock it. You are destined to find it, but the journey will not be an easy one. You will face trials that will test your very soul, but in the end, you will find what you seek. if you are brave enough to face what lies ahead. The sage handed Kaelen a small glowing orb. It hummed with energy, its light pulsating like a heartbeat. This is the Heartstone, a fragment of the world's soul. It will guide you on your journey, but be warned, its light will show you not just the world's wonders, but also its shadows. Only by confronting your own fears can you unlock the power within. With the Heartstone in hand, Kaelen thanked the sage and set off once more. His heart was heavy with the knowledge that his journey was only beginning. The world beyond the far peaks called to him, and though he didn't yet understand the full extent of his quest, he knew he had no choice but to continue. As Kaelen traveled through enchanted forests, sailed across seas that glimmered like liquid stars, and wandered through ancient ruins where the very air seemed to vibrate with magic, he met companions who would change the course of his journey. A rogue named Lyra, quick-witted and light on her feet, joined him after saving him from a band of marauding brigands. Then came Thorne, a battle-hardened warrior whose strength was unmatched, but whose heart hid a deep sadness. And lastly, there was Elara, a mage who wielded the power of the moon, her magic tied to the ebb and flow of the tides. Each of them had their own reasons for seeking the world. Lyra sought riches to reclaim her family's lost fortune. Thorne hunted for a way to undo a curse that had plagued him for years, and Elara sought knowledge to understand the ancient magic that ran through her veins. Together they formed a bond of friendship and strength, and their journey took them to places Kaelen had only ever dreamed of. But with each step forward, the shadow of the Raven Lord grew larger. It was said that the Raven Lord was the keeper of forgotten darkness, a being who once tried to consume the light of the world. He had been sealed away long ago, but with each passing year, the seal weakened, and his power began to stir once again. Whispers of his return spread across the lands, and Kaelen knew that his mission was not just about finding the Heartstone. It was about stopping the Raven Lord from consuming the world. The group arrived at the Cavern of Echoes, a vast underground labyrinth said to hold the key to unlocking the Heartstone's true power. As they descended deeper into the cavern, the air grew colder, and the walls seemed to pulse with an eerie energy. The deeper they went, the more Kaelen felt the presence of the Raven Lord, his dark power lingering like a storm on the horizon. Finally, they reached the heart of the cavern, where a massive stone altar stood bathed in a pale, otherworldly light. It was there that the Raven Lord made his presence known, his voice a low growl that shook the very air around them. "You think you can stop me?" The Raven Lord's voice echoed. "The Heartstone is mine. With it, I will claim the world for myself. The light you fight for is fleeting. It will be consumed by darkness.